Hey friends, it's Renee. Today I want to talk about using automated email marketing sequences. So this is a recorded version of the presentation that I'm giving for the Productivity Summit. And I'm just going to move myself out of the way here really quickly because a lot of my text is on the left side. So here we go. So the description, just to make sure you're in the right place, are you looking for a way to engage and nurture your audience? If so, consider email marketing automation. So you can create workflows that automatically send emails to your subscribers at specific points, and it's easy and effective. So in this presentation, we'll talk about 3 types of email automations that your business can use today and how to do it. So before we begin, I just want to make sure that you are collecting email addresses, that people want to sign up for your list, and you're currently emailing people. So if you aren't doing those things, that's totally fine. You have to start somewhere, and you'll want to address those issues before you dive into automating all the things. So make sure that you pick an email marketing platform. Make sure that you have a reason that people want to sign up for your list. What information are you going to give them, and that you're emailing people, regularly. So what's an email automation? Why should I use one? So an email automation is basically a sequence of emails, and they are sent based on a trigger. So a trigger could be any number of things. So if you join a list or a group, and this would be known as subscribing, if some time has passed, if a subscriber is tagged or segmented in some way, and there's a lot of other types of triggers, and you would have to look in the email marketing platform that you have signed up for to see what types of triggers they have available. And once you create this automation and turn it on, it will just run automatically. And it's really awesome. You can look at how many people have signed up and your open rates and click-through rates and things like that, and basically your levels of engagement. So why should you use email automation? So because it saves you time, and we're all trying to be really productive, right? This is a productivity summit. We want to be productive and efficient and effective. So email automation will allow you to do that. Almost everyone uses email. So that is a really great way. If people invite you to their inbox, it means they want to hear from you. They want to hear what you have to say, and they are using email. There's stats out there too that people check their email the first thing in the morning. So it's a really great place to be if people have invited you in. Automated emails also get much higher click rates than broadcast emails. So broadcast emails are things like that newsletter that you send out once a month, things like that. And the reason for this is because you're catching people at the right time. They sign up for your list because of something, and that's the right time for them. So when they expect to get some automated emails back. In this presentation, you'll see some links in green, and you can refer to those later. I will give you all of these slides and all of these links so you can dive into some of these links that I have given you here just to see what information is out there. So the 3 types of email automations that we're going to talk about today are the welcome email, an automated sequence designed to educate, and it's going to end with a call to action, and then a date-based follow-up email. We'll also talk about 3 specific marketing platforms. So there are a ton of email marketing platforms, and these are 3 that I like to use and I've used before and I think are good, but feel free to pick any email marketing platform that works for you. We'll talk about the general process of things. And so if you're not using one of these, you'll be able to take this information and implement it based on this process that we'll talk about. But later in the presentation, I will show you how to create those 3 emails that I just talked about in MailerLite, and then in ActiveCampaign, and then in ConvertKit. Now, MailerLite is free up to a certain point, I think up to a certain number of subscribers, and also their functionality. You get a little bit of additional functionality if you sign up for their paid plan. ActiveCampaign is paid, but you get a 14-day free trial. It starts at $9 a month. And then ConvertKit also get a 14-day free trial. It starts at $29 a month. So you might want to sign up for a free trial if you're not using these, just to see what they offer and see if it would be a good fit for you. So a couple other considerations before we start. I think you should write your emails first, the body and the subject of the email. So when I do this, I use Google Docs, but you could use Dropbox Paper or Notepad or anything like that. just to get those emails down. Because when you go to create your automation, there's a lot of steps, there's a lot of clicking and, where do I put this and what goes where? And if you have to write your emails at the same time, it'll just be a little bit more difficult. So I think you should write the emails first and then create your automation separately. Also, you want to pay extra careful attention to your email subjects. Now, if you get a lot of emails, which I don't know if you do, but I do, when you get a lot of emails, you might choose whether to open them or not based on the subject. So spend some extra time looking into and researching and creating really great subjects. Because if you create a really awesome email, but the subject is crappy, people aren't going to open it to see that great content that you have. So definitely take some extra time and work on your subject lines. You also need a way for people to get on the list. So some people have a sign-up form on their website, others have a separate landing page. Either way, however people get on the list, once they sign up there, then they'll be added to your list or group, and then you can kick off these automations. So you have to think about having a list and having a form as a way for people to get on the list. And just a couple other things about email specifics. So you may have received some emails in the past that were just plain text, and you may have received other emails that were really designed, so buttons and photos and columns and things like that. So it's up to you and the email marketing platform that you choose whether you want to do plain text or a designed email. I personally like plain text, and for two reasons. The first reason is that it looks like I actually wrote that email just to you. Even if you know I didn't, even if you know it's an automation, you still might feel a little warm and fuzzy like, oh, someone wrote this just to me. Also, the designed emails can look a little bit different on desktop and mobile, and emails is kind of like a different frontier there where it doesn't look exactly the same in every different email client. So think Gmail, think Microsoft Outlook. So a text-based email is more likely to look good on your desktop, your phone, Outlook, Gmail, everywhere you send. It's more likely to look the same. So think about what works for you in your business. Look at some emails that you're sent and how you respond to them, and just, consider that. I also like to personalize my emails. Sometimes I'll use the personalization in the subject and or the body. So by personalize, I mean that at the time of capture, when you capture someone's email address, also get their first name. And if you want other information too, you can get that as well, but first name specifically. So if I get somebody's first name and email address, then when I email them, I can say, hey, Renee, either in the subject or in the body. Now, you don't want to ask for too many fields because people are less likely to sign up for your list if they have to give too much information. But if you ask for first name and or first and last name, you can then personalize your emails if you so choose. Also think about the time between email sends. You don't want to wait too long, but you also don't want to send too many emails too quickly. And this is the number one reason that people unsubscribe, is because they get too many emails. And I've felt this way myself. I've signed up for a few things and I'm interested, but I just don't really have the time to commit, and they're emailing me constantly. And I just say like, okay, forget it. And I totally unsubscribe. So just think about the time between email sends, and based on what you're sending, what makes sense for you, in terms of timing. Okay, so let's talk about the welcome email. So what's a welcome email? So a welcome email is an email that's sent as soon as someone joins your list. So levels of engagement are highest, and engagement being open rates and click-through rates. So open being they opened it, and click-throughs being that they clicked on a link within the email. And people want to hear from you right away. So you've probably experienced this yourself, where you sign up for a list and you go to check your email right away. You're like, I know it's going to be there. And when it's not there, it's really maddening. So if you have a list and you don't send a welcome email, you're totally missing out. These are really easy to set up, and this is the biggest bang for your buck. So if you do nothing from everything that I say today, except one thing, it would be go and implement a welcome email. Really easy to do. Also, what should you say? So I like to start mine with thanks. Hey, thanks. Think of when you go to a party and someone invites you in, They say, hey, thanks, it's great to see you. They really welcome you to the party. So welcome them to your list. Now, if you've promised something, a discount code or a freebie of some kind, give it to them then. You don't want to make them wait. You've sent them an email. Don't make them wait until tomorrow or another time. Give it to them then. Tell them when they'll hear from you next. So are you going to email them again in a few days? Will they get something from you monthly? When do you send that? At the beginning of the month? Just give an idea of when they should hear from you again. And then what should they do in the meantime? Do you want them to follow you on social media? Do you want them to read some of your blog posts? Do you want them to schedule a call? What do you want them to do? And you can engage further with a question. So you can say, hey, I have a question for you. Whatever your question is, reply to this email and let me know. Start that engagement, because really that's what you're trying to do with all of this email, is to build a connection with people. You're trying to get them through the funnel, yes, but really trying to build a connection with people. So you can add that to your welcome email. Now let's talk about automated sequences. So an automated sequence is a series of emails. So where the welcome email is just one, an automated sequence is a series of emails that drips content over time. So this is designed to nurture your audience, and the goal is for them to get to know you, get to like you, get to trust you. So how can you do that? What kind of value are you offering to them? What makes them want to A, get your emails, and B, continue to open those emails? Okay, so think about what value you can offer and how you're going to nurture your audience over this sequence of emails. Now, all the pieces. You can have just a form on your site, no problem, but some people have a landing page, and the landing page will describe exactly what you're going to give them, and you're enticing them to sign up. Whenever they fill out the form on the landing page, you should then send them to a thank you page, like, hey, thanks for signing up. Go check your email really quickly, and then here's some other information. So landing page, thank you page, and then the series of emails. So it's not just the emails in this case, there's a little bit more to it. Now, a couple specifics. These are a little bit less structured than the welcome email. So the welcome email, I told you, like, here are 5 things that you can say in a welcome email. In this, there's nothing specific that I can tell you. I can't tell you what to say. I can't tell you how many emails to send. I can't tell you the time between emails. I can only encourage you to think about your business, what you're giving the reader, what value are you offering, and then what do you want them to do with this information, or what do you want them to do back to you? Do you want them to reply? Do you want them to schedule a call? Do you want them to email you? Like, what do you want them to do? You could also consider an upsell, and you'll see in some examples, if you sign up, you'll see that this happens at the end. So you kind of know what's going to happen. And at that point, they might be ready to buy, okay? Because you've nurtured them. Now they know you. Now they like you. Now they trust you. So here's a few examples. This first one is from my website, and just so you can see how a whole sequence works. So I'm giving you a free download. You'll get that via email, and then you'll get a series of emails that ends in a call to action, which is to schedule a call. So you can see how this all works. And these other two are just from the internet, where you can sign up, you get a free thing, and then you'll get a sequence of emails. And I would encourage you to find others as well. So find others and subscribe, get some ideas. What do you like? What do you not like? What works for your business? What do you definitely not want to do? Things like that. So there's a few examples. And the last is the follow-up email. So the follow-up email is going to be sent after a certain amount of time, or after someone makes a purchase, or after signing on as a client. Basically any kind of follow-up, depending on the timing. This is up to you. The example that I'm going to walk you through is after some time has passed. So where the first ones, the welcome email and the automated sequence, are sent right away after someone signs up, this is going to be longer. Okay, maybe 3 months, 6 months after somebody signs up, we're going to follow up with them. So these triggered emails also have higher click-through rates than routine newsletters, and I think I mentioned that before. Okay, so that's a follow-up email. And what should it say? Again, this is up to you. If you're just doing a check-in, that's great. You can say, hey, hey, so-and-so, I'm just checking in. It's been about 3 months since you've done whatever you've done. And then what should they have done in that 3 months, if anything? You could say, hey, I sent you this 7-day email course. Did you implement anything? Let me know. And what do you want them to do now? which would be to let you know, or schedule a call or something like that. So check in, see, if they should have done something, ask how it's going, and then what you want them to do now. And this is just, again, just a touch just to connect with people and keep a connection open. Okay, so some implementations. Now, I mentioned early in the presentation that no matter the type of email marketing software you're using, the process is generally the same. So the process being, in each email marketing platform, you will have a list or group of some kind. So you will have people in a place. So whether you have to create this list or group, or whether the email marketing software already has a list in place, it's just a place for the emails to go. Then you want to create a new automation. And any new automation will come with a trigger. So you have to pick, what's the trigger? What will start this automation? When the subscriber does X, then I want to send the emails. So then you'll build your email, and you want to consider layout, and that's that plain text or designed email that we talked about earlier. The from and the to, the subject and the body. You'll add some time before the next email. And then you'll add additional emails. So you'll just kind of repeat that, it's like shampoo, rinse, repeat, even though people don't really do that. So you want to build as many emails, as you have in your sequence. And then don't forget to turn the automation on at the end. Okay, so that's the general process. Now we'll talk about MailerLite, I said, ActiveCampaign, and ConvertKit, but I'm going to walk through the rest of this presentation first, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the specific how-tos. I have some links on each of these slides so that you can look at the documentation or some things that other people have written about these software platforms. So here's a link here for automation overview and creating an automated sequence. ActiveCampaign, how to create a welcome email automation and 3 steps to building your first automation. And then ConvertKit, how to set up a welcome series. Now, just a little note on ConvertKit. I mentioned that the terminology is a little bit different in some of these. ConvertKit uses the term sequences, so a sequence of emails. They also have an area for automation, and automation is another feature that's really an entire marketing workflow of the sequences. So just to let you know, in this, we're going to talk about ConvertKit sequences, and then, if you like it and you want to use it, you can dive into their automation later. They have some good documentation. Okay, so a little bit of additional information here. Eventually, if you get really good at this, you have a list, you have people signing up, you're offering value, people continue to sign up, you're engaging with people, it's really great. You can think of adding some conditional actions. So you can take your automation a little bit further. You can send different emails if an email was opened or it wasn't opened, if a link was clicked, if a reply was received. So you can do different things. You can add some ifs in there to that workflow. If they didn't open the email within 5 days, try to send that welcome email again. Or if they did open it, send them the next in the sequence. So think about the conditional actions. But again, this is like a tiered process. So at the very beginning, I said you should probably be collecting email addresses and sending a couple emails first. Then you can really get into and dig into these automations. Then you can work on some of these conditional actions. So you just think about that. And you can also integrate with Zapier. So I really like Zapier. And basically, if you've never heard of it, what it does is it connects to platforms. So you can connect MailerLite to Stripe or ActiveCampaign to Teachable. So look at the different software packages that you're using in your business overall and think about and look into how could they integrate with something else. So if somebody signs up for your event on Eventbrite, is there an integration somewhere that you could add them to your ActiveCampaign list so that you could start sending them emails? So Zapier is really good for this, and just want to throw that out there just so that you know that it's an option. So let's talk. I love to talk about this stuff. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Renee Morozowicz. My website's reneemzw.com. And you can find the slides and recording at reneemzw.com/prod summit. Now, in the next video, I'll walk through the whole MailerLite interface. We're going to create some automations, and then we'll go to ActiveCampaign, and then we'll go to ConvertKit. So meet me there. Okay, thanks a lot.